them muted while they're figuring that out. So yeah, so speaker view is going to help you not have all the distractions, so you can set that. And I just want to take a moment just to say thank you to all of you monthly partners. We've had some new monthly partners this last week. And I just want to say a big thank you to you guys. Thank you so much. You know, Concha thank you for becoming a monthly partner, and with Tracy, and there were more, Allison Holmgren, and there, I know there were more. I always hate when I start listing names because then I miss people. But let's mute them. But thank you. Thank you to all of you monthly partners, whether you're given $25 a month, $50 a month. Some of you all are $100 monthly partners. Just thank you so much for supporting us, and continue to do so. So thanks, guys. And it's really great to see all your faces, and just really glad to be here. So, all right, are we ready on your end, Art? I need you to unmute yourself now. We're getting there.
Are we there?
Yeah. So I'm gonna set you a spotlight. So we'll
after tonight, we're gonna about 9:30 tonight. Kyle's gonna set up for next Tuesday, and we want to make sure that you're ready to go. We're having trouble getting set up, so we'll just set up for next Tuesday right after this one, so the next week we have sound.
Yeah. Well, we're just gonna go buy the equipment that we need and take care of that, so there's no more technical difficulties. After a little break, we're out of practice. And we're in a new location and all that, and so we'll get it figured out, and we'll be smooth once again next week.
Plus, this TV Jeff's got us on is just pretty fuzzy.
It's the laptop.
Is it? Jeez, we need high definition. Are we on, or are we muted?
No, you're on, and you're on Spotlight. We're ready to go. We're ready to hear from you.
Oh, I was watching, I turned on Fox News, and then I watched that for a little while this morning. And then after I watched Fox News for a little while, I flipped it over to MSNBC. And, you know, I think it's really suspicious. It's really suspicious that these two groups of people can see things so differently while simultaneously doing the same thing. And they forge forward in their endeavor, never acknowledging that they're doing the exact same thing as the other side is. And I don't know why I'm telling you that, other than I just found it very suspicious that, you know, I mean, the story told from one perspective is the exact opposite story from the other perspective. And I'm not saying that about right and wrong. I'm saying that about perspective. And I'm saying that, you know, there's always this sense with people and with what we're doing and with connection and with, we let Wolf in? With, and by the way, we've got people trickling in here too, so we might be interrupted. But there's always a sense when people are having some kind of difficulty with each other, whether that's us and our addict, or our family members that we're dealing with, or anyone that's going through this kind of conflicted situation where both viewpoints are put out there. It just seems like it's so much easier just to label the other side as bad. And if we could just stop there and we could just say that the other side is bad people, and then that would be an easy way out, so that we didn't have to really look into anything. And it just seems like to really look deeper into it and to suggest that maybe factually we don't have all the facts, and that come on, can we stop with the vaping? That there's a lot of difficulty in looking into, and it's hard work to find out facts, especially in this day and age. It just seems like if things are said enough, they're true. And I think even every side, if we could all just admit, Democrats, Republicans, Black Lives Matter, people that are against that are for the police, and to see in all these sides that there's just something up. There's just something up that we cannot find a way to see each other's perspective and to do anything. And I'm not saying that I do it. I'm not saying that I'm good at this. I'm saying that it's been found out that I'm not very good at this now, that this is also a difficult thing for me to do, to actually calm down long enough to look into things. And before I make any kind of judgment, have all facts. And I think that, it was just very suspicious to me because I think I've been watching MSNBC and Fox for 25 years. And the same story told in two opposite ways is a phenomenon. And it just seems to be that there has to be good people on both sides of every issue. And how difficult it is to see it, and how difficult it is to calm down long enough to do it. And anyways, I don't know what that means, and that wasn't really what I meant out to talk about tonight, but really it just struck me. And I went, geez, these people are doing this every day. They're doing this every day. They're blaming the other side. And it's just a constant thing where both sides are blaming each other, and it just continues, and it never stops for it's perpetual. Just perpetual blame that never ends. And it just can't be right. There's got to be something wrong with it. So anyways, I also want to say that I need to make some context about what we're doing here on a Tuesday night, because it seems very odd. There's no, I don't have a caller on, so I'm not a preacher, and I'm not, I didn't sign on for that. This isn't a church. And then this also isn't an inspirational talk. So this isn't about inspiration, and this isn't inspirational, and this isn't a scientific talk. So I'm not here as a scientist. And this isn't a psychological talk because I'm not here as a psychologist. And this isn't really about addiction because I'm not really always talking about addiction. And this isn't really a educational talk. So it's not educational, it's not inspirational, it's not scientific, it's not even practical, and it's not reasonable, and it's not something that I'm doing here as a practical talk about how to live. I'm not doing a reasonable talk about how to live. I'm not doing scientific things on addiction, and I'm not talking about the brain. I'm not talking about the brain on addiction, and I'm not talking about economics. And so basically what this talk is a philosophical talk, and it's a philosophy, not one that I'm even suggesting that I prescribe to. Today I yelled at some people today. I wasn't nice all day. I had hatred in my heart. I had anger in my heart. I had frustration and worry and panic, and all those things happened today. Normal day. It wasn't an odd day. It wasn't different than. We have Tyler turn his music down and make sure he doesn't come and play. Tyler, he is gonna bump some music out in my driveway for a little while. He'll be in a second. I'd like the neighbors to know that he's here. I appreciate him every night when he comes over. So. Okay. So getting back to it, and then if I look at what's really going on, and I find it quite odd, just as you guys do, that I'm here on a Tuesday night giving a talk about nothing, a talk about that's not educational, that I'm not coming from a background of something, that I'm not preaching, that it's not about Christianity, and it's not about psychological stuff, and it's not about scientific stuff, and it's not about economical stuff, and it's not about anything, and it's philosophical. And I find it very odd to be in this position. And I find it very odd. And that being said, I get to a place where I go, wow, I don't even know why I do this, or why do I want to do this, or how I feel qualified to do this. But then it reminds me, because I wake up on a Tuesday and we're in the business of like a philosophical business of living. And so every day I'm surrounded by people that are trying to stay sober and trying not to suffer and trying to make it. And it's not people that got it all together, and it's not me saying I got it all together, but it's a bunch of people that don't have nothing together. And really none of us do. And we come over here and we talk together, and we don't have much together, and everybody comes and we eat and we try to help each other, and we're like a big ship trying to everybody get on and trying to survive. And then what happens is I do that all week. And so after I do that all week, what happens, I wake up and I'm compelled to share. And I'm compelled to talk about what we're all going through. And, you know, it kind of blocks me up because it's not something that, as I share with you guys, it's not something that I read. It's not something that I went to a class and then learned and then regurgitated here. It's not something that I'm regurgitating. It's not something that I memorized. It's something that comes up and the thoughts think me. So these thoughts think me, and then I come here and I tell you what was thinking me today. So this today is what was thinking me today. There's Ty. So then I get up and I say, well, I'm not going to do solution group, or I'll wait and I don't need to do it every night. But this compelled this idea that I need to share this philosophy, or I need to share these thoughts that I had never heard before today. And I never even thought about them for today. And then today they thought me, and then I kind of have like sit around, and then it thinks me, and then I get here and the thinking is happening, and then I share. And it's a very odd system. So if you're new and you just come on here, I want to make it clear that I'm not here to inspire or educate or any of that. I'm here to like give you a perspective, give you some thoughts, like a comedian would give thoughts, but not always comedy, but like a comedian gives perspective and brings it all together and says something that he notices. And this is just me noticing. And that's basically what this philosophical talk is me noticing some things about me, and noticing some things about others, and noticing some things about what we go through, and noticing some things about the causes of suffering and the causes of addiction. And so this is me sharing about what I notice. And, you know, we were on a discussion last week, and we will stay on the discussion of love and connection. And I don't have a problem saying love and connection anymore, because I'm very clear that that's what everybody's after. And I know for sure now that that's what everybody's after, that they're after a connection, but a connection just isn't good enough, because they're actually after one step further than that, and they're after love. And I can admit that about myself, and I can also admit to you that I don't experience it for enough as I'd like, and I don't give it as much as I like. And so here this philosophical discussion will begin about how to give it more and get it more. And then if you really look at why we don't give it more and why we don't do this, you know, also I really noticed lately, I've noticed a lot of people seeking love through hatred and seeking love through angry positions and angry viewpoints. And I want the people that are angry to know that you're actually looking for love. I want you to know that what you're after is the angry people to collude with you and love you. So if you're angry today and you have a bunch of anger, what you're looking for is other angry people to connect with. And so you will connect with angry people in your search for love. And if you're and really take a look at how anger and hatred are really driving us to love, and that's what we really want. So then you really look and see that even the angry people, because I saw it, even the people that are against Black Lives Matter or for masks or not for masks, or the Republicans getting together to love each other in their hatred of the Democrats, or the Democrats getting together to love each other in their hatred of the Republicans, and the mask wearers getting together and posting about how I wear masks and we're good because we wear masks, and getting together to hate the people who don't wear masks. And I just see all the Facebook posts looking for love. I see people constantly wanting the others. And when we're after love, hatred is okay too, because we like that conflict. We like to be involved in that kind of hatred and that kind of conflict too. It's all good. And so the reality is that everybody's looking for this connection and everybody's looking for love, but I think that it takes a lot to be able to say it. And I think everybody is misled. And we're misled because, you know, people start out from the wrong position. There's this idea that people have a soul. So everyone runs around saying that kind of stuff. You know, they say, I have a soul, or I have a spirit, or I have a true self. And I want to clarify that we don't have a soul. We are a soul. We don't have a spirit. We are the spirit. We don't have a true self. We are the true self. So if you can look from that position and see that we don't have a soul, that we are a soul. And if our soul could connect with another soul with nothing in the way, that would be love. You see, so now you can just see that you are a soul. I misspoke again, even me, I'm so used to saying have a soul that I just misspoke. See, if I can connect with something else, other soul, if me can connect with a soul, that's love. So even in our contextual way that we speak, we always say, I have a soul, but see, that keeps losing us because then we're looking for our soul to connect rather than being what we are to connect. And so the idea here is that the reason that these connections and this love is so blocked and we can't get there is that there's all this stuff that we're not in the way. So here's our soul, and we're trying to, or here's us as a soul trying to connect with another soul. And we can't because all this stuff's in the way. And then we have to look at what's in the way. And what's in the way is hatred, frustration, anger, life, future, past, others, jobs, family, mortgages, cars, clothes, body, mind. All this stuff is in the way. So if you see that we have to be the soul, if we are the soul, then we have to see what we're not, and we have to look at it. And the idea here is that if you want things to go away, like if you want hatred to go away, you got to look at it. Now, if you don't want hatred to go away, you'll just be it. You'll be hateful and you'll hate. But if you want it to go away and you're done with it in your life because you see that it's blocking you, then you have to look at hatred. If you want anxiety to go away, there's only one way to make it go away, and that's to look at it. So you look at it. So if somebody says, I have anxiety and I have an anxiety problem, then look at it. Then look at the anxiety. Just look at it. Now, there's nothing to do here. There's just a looking at it. There's anxiety. That's it. So as soon as you just look at it, it goes away. You say there's anxiety and it goes away. And now if you want to get rid of frustration, you just look at it and say, oh, there's frustration, and then it goes away. And if you want to get rid of anger, you look at anger, and then anger will go away if you just look at it. But people who are suffering from anger, they don't want to look at it. They want to be it. And people who are suffering from anxiety truly might not want to look at it. They want to be it. And people who are suffering from hatred, they don't want it. They want to hate. And so all we have to do to make all these things as a soul, I have to look at everything that's blocking my soul. I have to look at what's in the way of this other soul and me connecting. And so all I have to do is look at it. There's past, it's in the way. So look at it. There's the past, it's in the way. Look at it. There's resentment, it's in the way. Look at it. There's anger, it's in the way. Look at it. But you have to be prepared that you know the goal in your life. You have to get to a place where you understand completely that the goal is connection and love. And that's the only point when you can get there that you're going to be able to actually take a look and get the stuff out of the way. Because if you're not ready for that, the other stuff is too alluring. See, it is too enticing to hate. It's too enticing to be angry. It's too enticing to be frustrated and let everybody know how frustrated you are. It's too enticing to tell the story of your anxiety problems. It's too enticing to tell the story of your bad boss. It's too enticing and alluring because they're so dramatic. All the drama lies in there. All the story lies in there. It all lies in there. Now, as I say this philosophical discussion about how to connect and how to love, I want to be clear that I'm not saying that I have this. I'm not suggesting that I live a certain way that puts me up here spiritually sound, leaving everybody else in the dust. I want to be clear that that's not what's going on. And what's going on here is I'm just laying it out there. I'm just laying it out there and saying, I want connection and love. I want hatred, anger, frustration, anxiety, worry, panic out of my life. So I'm working on it. And I sit here today, and the way that the philosophy that I'm suggesting to get rid of those things is to look at them. As they're occurring, look at them. Just look. Let it sit there, point it out, say there it is, and look at it. Now, if you can do this, I'm not Now, I'm also suggesting that the people that are involved in these activities, and when I get involved activities, that I'm not looking at it. I can't. I'm looking at the cause out there in the world. And so it's so much easier just to go there and look at the cause out in the world and say we need to change that. So maybe your philosophy, unlike the one I'm talking about tonight, suggests something else. Maybe your philosophy says the way I'll get rid of worry is I'll solve all the problems and not worry about them. Maybe I'll get rid of anger by having nobody piss me off. Maybe I'll get rid of hatred by having nobody around me that is mean. Maybe I'll get rid of anxiety by a pill. Maybe I'll get rid of my car problems by a new car. Maybe I'll get rid of my relationship issues, not by looking at my relationship, by finding a new person that's better than the last one. And so for here, if that's your philosophy, go ahead. This is the one we're laying out here, is that, hey, all you have to do is just look at it. It's called mindfulness, or it's called whatever you want to call it. It's not even that. It's just looking at it. It's just saying, there it is. You know, if you took a young child and he was like 6 years old, and you wanted for sure for him to be able to handle frustration, to be able to handle anger, you would just take that 6-year-old kid and tell him when it shows up, look at it. So you'd have this little 6-year-old kid, and then and you would teach him at 6 that when anger showed up, he could just go, hey, there it is. There's anger. Now, he would never get angry because he would always just look at it. And there it is. But if you teach the kid and he gets angry, and then you tell him to solve the problem out in the world so he's not angry again, well, he'll learn what we all learn. He'll learn that the source of our anger isn't our fears inside. He'll learn that the source of our anger is out there in the world, and we need to solve the world. But we know that little kid's not going to be able to solve the world. We know he's not going to be able to do it. So we have to teach him to just look at it. And then that's what we begin to do. And that's what we're talking about over here at my house today. And we've been talking about it all morning. Just take a look at it. So when we get angry, we look at it. When we get frustrated, we say, there it is. There's frustration. Some teacher I was listening to said that they taught a young kid to call their anger Bob. So as this young kid got angry, he didn't get angry anymore. Anger showed up and he would tell his mom, there's Bob. And he would detach from that kind of overwhelming whatever it is that takes us over when we get angry. So here we are taking a look at it, and in a philosophical manner, not been written in a book, not something that we really, what are we doing? Sorry, guys. So, yeah, I found it. Is there someone out there, Kyle?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Amy? No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So we begin to talk about this philosophy of what we're up to and how we would, hold on, guys. Let's not struggle with the screen. Just leave it open. You don't need to shut it. Isn't she coming in? We'll take her around back. I mean, what are you going to do? Just talk to her? Just go ahead. Just take her around back and talk to her. I've already talked to her earlier. I told her she could come in. Ah. Kyle, please quit messing with that door.
Get it open.
Okay. No, take her around back. That way Wolfie can't get out. Go around back.
Go around back. I told her to go around back.
See, I think that the major blockage here that we're going to be up against, and the problem that we're going to have as human beings, and this is me included, is this enticing pull of that day-to-day drama of life. And to be pulled into that everyday drama of life in a fashion that we'd like to control it, change it, or alter life, and get in there and improve it in whatever fashion we can improve it, whether that means that we can get all the mean people out of our life, or we can get new people into our life, or whether it means that we can get a better job, or whether it means that we can convince folks. You know, I was fascinated after I watched the MSNBC and the Fox today, because then I went to my Facebook scroll that I go to, and then as I'm scrolling down Facebook, you could just tell right now it's very apparent who's an MSNBC watcher on your feed and who watches Fox. And then the persistence of these people on my page, every one of them, I don't look at names anymore. I don't even have to. I know who posted everything as I go down. So you could literally just cover up everybody's name on my feed, and I can tell if they've posted something on Black Lives Matter, or they posted something on masks, or they posted something on Trump, or they posted opposing Trump, or they've posted whatever they've done right now in the current, or they say COVID's real or COVID's not real. I don't even need to look at the names. I can just accurately predict as I go down my feed. And I always just get suspicious, this persistence, and why they persist every day to try to convince the other side. Every day, just this trying to convince, like maybe they're going to wake up and tomorrow's posts about how great Trump is are going to win the other side over. Or maybe the posts about how much they hate Trump will change the other side. I wonder if that's what people are thinking, that if I just post enough about that, the other side will come through. And it just gives me this image that they must just wake up and just start banging their head against the wall. And that's what you're doing. You're just wake up and bang your head against the wall. And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of being in this thing where I want my point of view to be the right one so desperately that I wake up every day banging my head against the wall, trying to get people and convince them that I'm right. And it's an exhausting way to live. And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of this exhausting. And then it's like, but it's viewpoint. So you're trying to drag people into your viewpoint and see, it's so enticing and so alluring rather than connection and love to get involved in the drama. It's so much better almost. By the end of the day, you feel like you did something, you know? But if you stay out and you don't know what's going on and you sit back and you breathe and you look what's in the way of connecting with human beings, there's not much drama in it. It's not as fun. It's not as alluring. It's not as enticing. It's not as, you know, Facebook at the stoplight when I'm waiting for the red light, that gets me something. But breathing, you know, and sitting there, that's boring. And so you have to be ready for the boredom of peace. And you have to be ready to sit with that boredom of peace and kindness or whatever it is, and compassion or whatever you feel. But I can tell you what, I mean, this persistent stuff in the way, righteousness, resentment, anger, hatred, all coming from our fears, all stemming from this little insecure spot in all of us that wants to prove themselves. And I'm just as guilty. And this isn't an inspirational talk about don't do that. This isn't me saying live like me and don't do that. This is me saying, look what's in the way. If you'd like. If you don't like, don't. But if you're here and you're listening and you want to get this philosophy, or that's what we're talking about. And hopefully tomorrow I'll stay there. I'll stay in a place where I can look what's in the way. And I'll stay in a place where I can see that if I don't want to be angry, I have to look at my anger. And if I don't want to be frustrated, I just have to sit and look at frustration and feel it a bit. And if I don't want to be mean, then I just have to look at how I was about to be mean. And if I don't want to be worried, I have to look when worry shows up. But see, if I miss it and worry shows up, I'll just go right to worry. And I'll just stay there for a while worrying. If I can see it at the point it arrives, there it is. I was fine. Now I'm starting to worry. There's worry. I was fine. Now I'm starting to be angry. There's anger. If I can see it right at the point it arrives, I can head it off at the pass. I can do something about it. But as soon as I go into it, boy, I stay there. I'm getting better at getting back out quicker, but I can stay there for a while. And then it's just a game right now. So we're all in the game tonight. What do we want? Do we want this everyday petty drama of life? Or do we want love and connection? My philosophy says it's very clear which one we can get when we do what. And then you see these people going to try to get loved. And me, I've done it. Going to try to get love through the everyday drama of life. I know how I'm going to get love. I'm going to do better at my job. People will love me then. I know how I'm going to get love. I'm going to hate people. I know how I'm going to get love. I'm going to post something. I'm going to know how I'm going to get love. I'm going to get a gold star from my boss. I know how I'm going to get love. I'm going to have a better house than everybody. I know how I'll get love. I'll get a better car. I know it's these new shoes. I know how I'll get love. I'll cook a meal for everybody and serve them. And I don't care that they're ungrateful. I know how I'll get love. I'll do whatever it is that we're after through these everyday ways of getting love that never work. And we persist in our endeavor to do them. We just keep thinking it's going to work. You know, and then we get the bigger house. And if you really were honest, you've never went over your friend's house that was bigger than yours and felt any love for them. You might actually feel something opposite. You might go, I don't like these people anymore. Easier for me to go, and I can admit it, it's easier for me to go over to a friend's house that has a smaller house than me and love them. I don't know why. It just feels like I'm better. But it's hard to go over and look at people that are doing better than you and have a good feeling about them. You know, I've lived a long time, and I can honestly admit that there was a long time in my life that I was not happy for anyone else's success. Never. I can admit that. I can tell you that when somebody else had success, happiness was the last thing that I felt. I felt things like jealousy and resentment and cheated and shorted and anger, and I was not happy for people's success. I'm getting there now a little bit, but it was difficult. And the start of me being happy for other people to be successful came when I admitted that I wasn't happy when they were successful. I had to admit that first. I had to say, you know, and a lot of people might not admit that. And then they con it off as something else. But see, that's just in the way. So we're trying to get love through success, and then people don't actually love us because it's not connection. It's actually doing the opposite. But we think it does. We think if we get the new job, we're going to go over to our friend's house and they're really going to care. We think we're going to go tell them and they're going to be so happy for us that they love us. And we think we're going to get the new car. We're going to drive over there and show them our new car. And they're just going to go, now I love you. But actually, they feel more love for us when we lose our car. They feel more love for us when we lose our job. Then they say, oh man, I love you. So it's this weird endeavor that we're going into, this thing that we're going after love and we don't know it, but so we're going through these everyday means of accolades and validation in life. And this also weird endeavor that we're trying to get loved by other people through our hatred and joining, you know, all across on a Friday night, all across the country, there's people having dinner parties. And I gather that those people having dinner parties are all sitting there. And what connects them is their hatred for the bad people. So they get together and they have a dinner party and they talk about the bad people over there that aren't them. They talk about the people over there that aren't like them. And they talk about the bad people. So we get together and we connect in our hatred. And it's almost funner if we can get together on a Friday night and hate somebody together. When there's nobody to hate, is it even fun to get together? Oh, we'll just pass this weekend. There's nobody to talk about. But when there's a lot of drama, everybody wants to get together. Everybody wants to go do things when there's a lot of drama. You see? Because that's how we connect now. That's what we've settled for. We settled to connect in our hatred rather than love, because it was just too hard. Just too hard to actually sit there and not talk about the bad people. It's too hard to sit there and look at what's in the way of our own connection. Very difficult. Much easier to have a group of people that we can just call bad and leave it at that. They're bad, we're good. Let's not go any further. We win. But it's just not true. There's not good and bad. There's point of views and everybody trying, and I think there's good in everyone. And I think some people are just more scared, so they're more angry. And then I think the people that are scared because they're more angry are connected and united in more hatred. And I don't think anybody's at fault. I think fear is to blame. I think insecurity is to blame. And I think we all have them and they're driving all this behavior. And it's a monumental endeavor when we begin to look at what's in the way. Our own fears, our own stuff. And you want it to go away, just look at it. People, and we had somebody here ask this morning, how does that do anything? How does looking at it do anything? I don't know, but it does. Because if you're looking at it, you're not it. And every time you're looking at something, for sure, you're not it. So if I can look at it, I'm not it. But as soon as I forget and stop looking at it and get pulled into it, I'm it. And so that's what we're working on. That's what's going on here. We can open it up, Ange. Take some questions or comments. I don't know.
Your loving connection with humor should be the same as me with you.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean,
That's
the
right.
best, man.
yeah, that's right. And that's what Tyler
That's a
just
good example.
Tyler just said. The loving connection we have with human beings should be like his connection with Woofy, and that's Woofy laying here. And my sister, who might be on tonight or might not, mentioned that Woofy needs a lot more screen time. So maybe we can get her in. She said last week Woofy didn't get any airtime, and she knew Woofy was here.
Shelly's not here, but she watches the recording.
Yeah, she'll be watching the recording. So Woofy, you need
Wolfie,
to.
come on, Wolfie.
So when she's a little tired right now. She slept for about 20 hours and that exhausts her. So yeah, when she gets up. But yeah, that's it. There's nothing in the way. Our soul meeting the dog's soul. Not our soul, excuse me. Us meeting the dog's soul. We don't have a language to describe us.
I already had a question.
Yeah, Chris
So,
has a question.
It was earlier that I said, you said, oh,
We
you have to
can't
look
hear.
at it. Is it
Can you
okay?
come over to the screen?
Okay.
Yeah, it was earlier I was talking to Art and I said, okay, so I understand you get angry and then you just acknowledge your anger and look at it. And I said, okay, if you take that path, then where do you go after that? Because I can get angry and know I'm angry and it doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah. So, like I said, and I got to remind, Chris said that he can get angry and then we can be angry and it doesn't do anything. And now he's just looking at himself angry or whatever it is. Yes. But what I said, and I want to be clear, is that I said we need to meet it at its arrival point. We need to see it at the right point. You see, I'm not talking of looking at anger after you're angry. I'm talking about looking at the arisal of the anger. I'm saying, there it is. Look, like a little kid. I mean, just look at it like that.
Before
Like,
you really get
yeah,
all the way fixed.
a little kid that's frustrated at his homework, you know? And if you've ever seen a little kid like frustrated at his homework, when he is, like, you can see that he is frustrated. I used to get that way with math when my father was trying to help me with my math. I would get so mad I would like snap my pencil. I also used to get that way. I had this in the 80s. I had this beautiful head of hair when I was a kid. It was what we wanted in the 80s. If you were around, you were all here. No, a lot of you were here. In the 80s, the word that you wanted in your hair was volume. You wanted volume. And my hair had volume. It was big. I could use a big brush and a blow dryer. And I like to blow dry it and feather it. And then I had a part in the middle. So I would part it in the middle and blow dry it and feather it. It was beautiful. But sometimes I couldn't get it right. And I would get so frustrated that I would yell and tell my mother that I'm not going to school. You know, one hair out of place. And my mom would come in, I'm like, you're not going to school? And I'd be like, no, this isn't working. So, but that's that too late thing, you know, and I was never taught. So frustration would show up and it just kind of engulfs us. So anger or frustration, it arises and then it just captures us. And you have to keep it at the point down here. You have to keep it down here. You have to feel it in the body and feel the arisal of it and look at it before it waves over you. Yes.
What'd they say?
He says before the cortisol and before everything, before the adrenaline and the cortisol and everything like that. No, what you're doing is you're feeling the adrenaline and cortisol. See, it's the mind that comes in to capture you.
So,
The
but
body.
before it actually, while you're angry,
Yes, not while you're angry. You'll just feel it in the body. Anger will arise in the body. Frustration will rise in the body. So we're talking about just keeping it in the body. Not letting the mind come in and blame the world. See, it's too late. So that was what and this is what Michael Singer taught us. You know, this is what he taught us. And chapter 9 or 10 of The Untethered Soul. And this is what he said. He said, you meet it right there. And you see it's starting to arise, and you see that, and you lean back. And that's where the work is. And so why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this, I employ you, and the philosophical reason that we're doing this is that how are we going to connect and love somebody when we're angry? And how are we going to connect and love somebody when we're frustrated? And how are we going to connect? And it's not just the point that we're angry that's the problem. And it's not the point that we're frustrated that's the problem. And it's not even the point that we're anxious that's the problem, because those are all really quick times. It's the refeeling of these things. It's the worrying that might cause it later or again. It's the refeel, the resentment. It's to say, you made me angry yesterday and I'm still thinking about it today. And I'm still driving in my car and thinking about it. So it's not even the experience of anger that's the problem. It's the lingering mind and the blame. It's to drive around and say, I don't want to be around that person again because they caused this thing inside of me a week ago and I'm done with them. And I don't want to go around them because that's what happens when I go around them and it's their fault. And so it's not even these experiences of anger or frustration or worry. None of that's the problem. When I was a kid and I got frustrated with my hair, that wasn't even a problem because I didn't think about it all day. I just had that little moment of frustration, and then I went to school and forgot all about it. And never to think about it again, but until now. But you really look and you see that as adults, when we get frustrated like that, we can think about that for a year. We can think about that for a month, about how that person made us that angry or made us that frustrated. And we can worry about shit that ain't never going to happen, but we've worried about it. I mean, really worry, angry, frustration. It's like they're friends of ours. It's like a group of friends that we just can't stop being around. There's anger, Bob, or whatever. And we love these friends so much, we're not willing to let go of them. And it feels comfortable to be angry. It feels good, So we're used to hanging around with Bob, or we're used to explaining somebody our frustration that we just had at the store. We're used to going to the store and being in a line that's too long and getting frustrated and then coming home and venting that and creating that drama in our life about self-importance. Look what happened to me at the store. As if we're the only ones that went to the store that day. Or we're used to claiming that our anxiety blocks us to going. I can't go to the dinner party. I can't go to the family reunion. I can't go to work. Well, why? I got anxiety. So anxiety is your old friend and you just don't want to let it go. It's too interesting to hang out with. But when you really see that all these old friends are blocking the soul from other souls, well, now you got to get rid of these people. They're in the way.
So we have a question to line up, Art.
Okay.
I'm going to cancel your spotlight. And for anybody who doesn't know, the way to get in line is there's a feature on your phone, raise your hand, and it'll let me know that you have a question. If you can't figure out that feature or anything like that on your device, no worries, just get my attention some way. Like unmute yourself and say hi, wave your hand, whatever. Kim Wilbur, can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
Hey.
Hi. Sorry, I'm on the couch, not very attentive here. So Art, like what you were just describing, I feel like that is what we are bombarded with every day. So do you pick a starting point or a starting subject? Like,
Do you mean which are you bombarded with every day?
what do you call that? Things that cause either frustration or anger or anxiety. It's just one after another all day. I mean, that's part of life, and some of them are good ones, there's great ones intersprinkled in there, but like in order to start learning how to catch that moment and kind of look at yourself or look at that to kind of determine how did that get there? Where do you begin? My goodness. That's my question.
And that That's an amazing question, because the answer is been given to us by any 12-step program. And you know, we're not that, but and it is, and it's right there in there. And it says in step 1 of the 12-step program, it says we admitted we were powerless and our life's unmanageable. So there it is. If you can admit that, well, there's a start. And if you can admit that, then you'll go to the second step. And the second step just says there's only one place of sanity left in the world. And it says we came to believe a power greater than ourselves would restore us to sanity. And so there is an answer. Now we suggest, or our philosophy here is that power is the current moment, or the power is now. So let's say that you want to get some sanity from the bombard of what's going on. Well, take a breath. If you breathe, you might get a second of sanity. You might get like just this much, where there's no past, no future, no worry, no anxiety, and all you're feeling is the breath. So take that breath. Get yourself 1 second. Now, if you do that today, tomorrow get yourself 2, then get yourself 3, then get yourself 4, then get yourself a minute, then go to the sink and do the dishes. When you do the dishes, just do the dishes. Just breathe and do the dishes. And this is what Eckhart is talking about in Power of Now. And he's saying, just breathe and do the dishes. Be where you are. Be here now, whatever you want to call it. Now, as you get used to this, you will like it. You will see that sanity exists when you breathe. Sanity exists outside of the mind, when the mind shuts up for a second. And so if you begin to like that, it says we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves restores the sanity. So that's like, see, how would you come to believe that you could play the piano? You see, you would have to hit some keys. So if you just didn't believe you could play the piano or be sane, either one, and then you just start hitting some keys, then you hit some keys, and all of a sudden, you could believe that you might be able to play the piano one day. Well, this is the same thing with being now and being present and getting rid of the bombardedness of the mind and all that. It comes with that one hitting of the key and just saying, I'm going to work on this moment right now. Now, for me, when this happened, it happened about 4 years ago when it originally happened. And I began to work this different second step than I did the first time. My first one was in a 12-step program, but this second step was kind of on my own. I read some books and I talked about presence and Ram Dass and Eckhart, and I said, okay, I'm going to work on this thing. So I started just riding in my car and being in my car, and I started just doing the dishes and being in the dishes. Now, as I started doing that, it almost felt like I had legs again. It felt as if I'd been crippled my whole life. And now I finally had some legs, you see? And the legs are that you can just be where you're at and be present. Well, once that happened, then I started seeing that I needed to keep my legs. And what takes our legs away? Resentment, anger, fear, panic, worry, frustration. That takes us away. It takes us to the future. It takes us to the past. So then you do the work. See, step 3 says we made a decision to live now. It says we understood, we turned our will and our life over to God as we understood him. But in our interpretation, or in the interpretation I'm philosophically talking about tonight, it just means, 1, I could never be present. 2, I'm working on being present. And 3, I made a decision to live present. And there it is. And then if you make that decision, there's work to do, because you'll see what's coming. You'll see that if I want to be present today, and I want to be just what I am, my soul, be the soul that I am, that I'm going to have to see anger arising, or it's going to take my legs away. That I'm going to have to see anxiety arising, or I'm going to lose my legs. Because as soon as I go into anxiety or anger or hatred or opinion or judgment or resentment, I got no legs. I'm swept away by them. You see? So the starting point is the breath. The starting point is just one breath. The starting point is one smell, one touch, the senses. That's it. And you actively work it. You actively do it. I did my second step 4 years ago. I did it every day, all day. I watched I would smell my coffee, drink my coffee, and I would get 1 second. But see, I'd live 40 years without a second. just swept away by the doings of the world. Here, oh man, like a tumbleweed, really, you know, just whatever it took me. Oh, I'm angry. Oh, I'm frustrated. Oh, I'm upset. Oh, I'm pissed off at this. Why didn't this go my way? Oh, and then drugs. Boom. Wasn't a tumbleweed anymore when I got drugs. Now I'm set. Back to presence again. You see? Does that help? I hope. That's a long answer to a short question.
That's a good question. Kristen has a question. I think Kim muted herself, so must have been good. Kim, I got a thumbs up. All right, Kristen.
Hey, Kim, I think you kind of sound a little bit like me. And I had private coaching with Art and Angie last week. And it was a lot about that because I have this crazy mind that goes all the time like this. And if you didn't understand what Art said, or if you didn't grasp everything that he said, which it's taken me now 5 years to really, really grasp it, and I'm still working on it, please re-listen to this and write some notes because that'll really help you. And I'll tell you that I'm learning to sit and take that breath. And it's a whole different ball game now. I'm learning to be quiet. And when I start to go other places, I learn to just sit and breathe and take a breath. And it's beautiful. I went swimming last week, or every time I swim every day, but I went swimming last week and I felt the water. And I looked at my husband, I'm like, what's different about this water? And he's like, nothing's different. It's the same water you've always been in. But this water that I was swimming in was calm water. But it's the same pool that I swim in every single day. But my whole body is calmer. I'm not, like Art says, and I love that you said that, Art, that it doesn't, every day you're not the perfect person and we all still have work to do. But I know that I am calmer now just by the private coaching that I did with Art and Angie and with the quieting of my mind and taking that breath. So Angie will post this again so you can rewatch it. Watch it several times if you need to. And if you have questions, make sure you ask us too.
Kristen, I want to say that I don't think that it takes people 5 years to figure it out. I don't think it does. What I think is it takes people a long time to figure out what direction they want to go.
Okay.
And so I think that the drama of your life, until you went through what you went through recently, you know, you've lost your father, you went through some things that we go through, that the suffering gets so great that we can't take that stuff anymore. You know, the story, living in the story of our life and being the center of our own universe is awesome until it sucks, until the story sucks. And when the story sucks and you can't take it anymore, you either got to do drugs to get rid of the story, or you got to learn a way to quiet your mind to get rid of the story.
That's exactly it. It's exactly it. Yeah.
This is the bottom that people are talking about before they work a program.
Yeah.
And so we have to hit a bottom. We have to not be enticed anymore by all that. To be able to go, you know what? I need peace for a second today. I need relief now. And when you need it bad enough, you'll breathe. But if it's still enticing and you love the drama of your life and you love being the center of this character that is kind of on stage of the world and the world's happening to it, and then we use everything that happens to it as another storyline to tell people how important our life is, well, that's fun. Until it ain't.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that I wanted to, that I was, you know, that.
No.
I didn't see that until, like you said, my world caved in.
Yeah. Our world caving in is a good thing.
I think
it is. It always helps.
It's hard to lose him, but it's sure a blessing. It's helped me a lot.
Yeah. My world's caved in 5 or 6 times, and every time it gets better after. So we need our worlds to cave in more. Yeah, I think. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen. And let me just add, we have resumed private coaching. I can't recommend it enough. I've never met someone with this kind of ability to be able to peel through the layers with any individual, no matter what you're dealing with in life, whether it's addiction, whether it just doesn't even matter what you're dealing with. Everybody can benefit from a coaching session with Art. It's pretty remarkable, and it's a huge honor to be able to be witness of it. And it's so beautiful. And he's able to just peel through the layers and have something show up for you individually that you weren't able to see before. And he's able to speak to you. And there's no two sessions that are alike. It's not like he's looking in his little book saying, oh, well, this one is the one I'm going to do with this person. It's all very individual, and it's just really beautiful. So if you want more information, please reach out to me and I can give it to you. I just can't recommend it enough. So, hey, Art, do you want to share a little bit about what the Crew for Hire, what we're looking to do? And
Yeah, we're kind of in a rebuild fashion. And, when we originally went on to this rebuild, part of me was suggesting that I would go to a more privatized, smaller, more intimate settings. And that's still true, that's what's necessary to get a lot more intimate with families and a lot more closer to the kids that are going through what they're going through and learn their stories a lot more than I'm normally used to. And originally when we started all this, it took off like a wildfire. It took off bigger than we knew it was taking off. So this is kind of a back to the basics type of thing. And what we did originally when we started this thing out was we had work. So right now I have some kids living with me currently. And if any of you need or want things done, there is always good opportunities for us to come out as a crew and do some things like landscaping and cleanups and moves. And I think the kids went out today and helped Kristen move some stuff. And so it gives a chance that we can put kids in our program that might not be able to afford to live with me and do our program. And they can go out and earn their rent, and they can earn some money for today they blew all their money on vape stuff. So very disappointed. So somehow they found a way to go out today, and they earned $100, and they spent $120 when they came back, and they actually came back with less money and were in debt when they got back today. Now this was none of my doings, I was gone, but yeah, somehow they came out in a worse position after going to work than they went to today. So we're going to work on that aspect of how a human being could go out to make $100 and come back $20 in debt, and we're going to work on that math tomorrow. So we'll do a whole.
We have speaking to do with this new program.
Yeah. So
if you've got any jobs, please reach out. We can bid the job and we can get it done. So
if you like a bunch of kids with sagging pants and vaping and they swear a lot, we'll come over and they can walk around your property and sag a little bit and swear, and they'll leave some. Yeah.
They are the best. I love having a crew out at my house. I love it. It's fun. All right. So anybody else comments, questions, whatnot, just raise your hand and we'll get to you. And I don't see any new people, but I'll take another look to see if we can meet some new people. But I'm not seeing anybody new tonight. Seeing a lot of regulars, some old timers, though I haven't seen in a while. I'm seeing, which is cool.
Call them out.
Cynthia Patterson, but her video's not on, so I'm not sure if she's available to say hi. But Cynthia, if you are, we'd love to say hi. Cynthia Kwan Patterson. No, her video's off. Memory's joined us tonight. Hey, Memory. Tracy's in the house. Tina Curtis is here. Kathy Washington. Hey. Good to see you. Colette, Lisa Breyer, all kinds of great faces. Good to see you all. Rachel. Lisa Gross. Lisa, this is your first solution group, right? Adam's mama. Say hi to everybody.
You better get in here.
Hey, Lisa.
Adam, come get in the screen. Here's
Let's
the subject. Here's the subject right here. He's got his pants sagging. Yeah, I told you. Told you.
I asked Art the other day, I was like, what, or so I asked somebody at the house, I was like, why do they've been doing that for years and I've never understood why.
Well,
It seems like it'd be so uncomfortable that you'd be worried that they keep falling down.
I don't know.
We ain't worried about that.
They ain't worried about it. They ain't worried about it. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna go out of style, like when my son started doing it, it started being a thing, and this was been 15 years ago. It's
I'll
never
tell you what, I'll take it over skinny jeans any day of the week.
really.
Yeah. Yeah. If I see anyone getting up here and wearing skinny jeans, we just pack their shit and they gotta go.
I don't know if I've seen
Yeah.
in the program. I don't know.
Jeff wears skinny jeans, but we don't even, I mean, about like, I think what was the year that the word metrosexual came out? What was that year? What was the year that was came out? No, that was a big thing in the 80s or whatever. They call it 84. I think that was when Jeff was born.
Started that trend.
Yeah, he started it. He started that. Yeah.
Hey, Karen Watula has a question. Go ahead, Karen. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Hey.
Hey, hi there. Hey, Art. No judgment. No judgment. There's nothing wrong with skinny jeans. Just
Oh man, they're atrocious. They're atrocious.
cut it out.
Somebody mute her. Yeah.
Oh, Tona's back. Very good.
Go ahead.
I think
What
is that what you
That's
wanted
all
to
she wanted to say?
Yes.
Oh, Karen. Jesus, the defender of skinny jeans. I think it's just jealousy. I couldn't fit them. They don't work for me. I would look like that guy in Despicable Me. You know that? Yeah. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the character.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I look like a big egg I look like an egg with legs. Yeah.
All right.
I just jealous. I can't wear them. Yeah.
Can you hear me, Art?
I can now. Yes.
Yeah. I was like thinking about what you're saying, and I was kind of like, I was sort of analyzing you tonight and thinking that maybe you needed to have a little one-on-one meeting. You're struggling a little bit, and even though you're sitting with it all, I can see it, and I'm just hoping that you're doing well, even though I see that you're struggling.
It's excruciating.
Yeah.
Excruciating time in my life, and very, very, very difficult. And I thought I was living before this, but to be on both ends and to know that the excruciating pain which is happening, and to feel the free fall that my life is, and to be in a free fall and to sit with it is tough. It is. And it's been the most I've ever had to keep eating. And it's not just me. It's not me it's everyone. And it's all the pain. And it's everyone's pain. And it's not mine. It's the wave of going through, of thinking of other people's pain and my pain and other people's and just all of it. And just the breaking apart of what we thought was our lives. So no, there's no question. I thank you for seeing it, but yeah, no, it's excruciating. It's not anything for me other than difficult.
Well, Battlefield is very special, and I just, I mean, just hang on, because you can't let it go, because it helps so many people. I have, just hang in there, and I'm with you. So
I appreciate it. And we are going to, but it's a turbulent flight. It really is.
all right. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Karen. All right. Who's next?
We can have normal questions. We don't have to just, I mean, although we said this isn't an educational talk, we do have an education on the topics here. And we have had some experience. And so if there's people that just want normal questions, practicality or anything, although my thing isn't that, you can get that here. And this might not be an inspirational talk, but you might get inspired. And this might not be educational, but you might get educated. And it might not be practical, but you might find practicality. But that's not the goal. The goal is to put what's in here out there and share. And that's it. And then what's in here is not just what's in here, it's actually what's in all here. And it's what we've gone through all week. And this has just been the way, like, my life has been somewhat of a sitcom for 7 years. And then this is like, every sitcom, they always at the end sit around the table and like turn it into a lesson. That's what this is. So Tuesday night really isn't the business. Tuesday night is the summary, the recap. And we all come to Tuesday and get the recap, and then the rest of it we live. And we live it all week, and then we recap, and it's beautiful. Well, what we've done is Chris just said get a recap of what we've done this week, but he don't want me to. Because what we've done is what we've done is make sure Chris D'Abilia has stayed sober through 24-hour supervision. That's what we have done.
5 days.
Yeah, and we're 5 days in, though. By the way, he's 5 days in. He's 5 days in. Yeah.
100% drug free. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was a very, very, very difficult process of what Chris went through. And we also got Adam here, which is 5 days in. Yeah.
And the Stampalias have a question. They've got their hand raised. So go ahead, Pam.
Okay. Yeah.
And Dave's, I don't see Dave.
Yes, he did steal the
Yeah,
money.
he walked away for a minute. I just want to ask how Art is coping with 2 people in the house that are going through detoxing.
Oh,
3.
Well, 3.
three.
Oh, there's 3?
Now. There's three. And what you do is you get yourself a Kyle. So get yourself a Kyle.
Right there. Kyle.
And then you get a Kyle, and then Kyle does all the work, and then Art takes the credit. You get a Shelly, and so Shelly and Kyle do all the work, and then I hold my hand up and say, "You're welcome." That's what I do. Yeah. Kyle has actually slept on the couch every night, and he's in extreme pain because he's had a procedure with his mouth. And so he's having his teeth redone and rebuilding his life. And that part of that meant that he'd done a lot of damage with his teeth. And we found a great, name the dentist that's doing the work.
Yeah, Woodland Dental, Dr. Cameron. Bill Wiggins is our connection there. Bill used to, own that Woodland Dental. Dr. Cameron and Ryan now own the facility. And I'm telling you what, they have given a huge, massive gift in all of this work. And it's going to be a long process for Kyle, but he's literally getting a new mouth. So, I mean, it might be a year long, all these different things. And they're literally only charging at costs and stuff, the things that they.
So we say, we don't want to really talk about their financials, but what we will say is that we could use a plug for Woodland Dental and the guys down there, and make sure Bill thanks them and tells them that we were speaking of them with a lot of families tonight.
And Bill, is there anything I misspoke as far as the names or anything like that? Please add anything about them, please. Where are they located? All that. Are you there?
Yeah, Woodland Dental's in Puyallup. It's on 112th Street, 8012 112th Street, Court East. But it's my old practice. Cameron is just a great guy, and my nephew Ryan is probably if there's implants involved, then Ryan's placing the implants at cost. So it's a joint effort there that they're doing, and you wouldn't believe how much that case would cost. And if they're doing it for cost, it is a true gift.
So I think
for
that
Kyle.
had something to do with the auction and everything that they gave to, and
Yeah, they've been kind of connected since we've been connected, and they've been involved in the 5K run as an office, and they've always been willing to step up like that. So
They were the two that were competitive with each other, and they had this fun competition on.
yeah, they're like brothers who flick each other's ears all the time. They're always teasing and bugging one another, but they've got good hearts. Both of them do.
so
Yes, we're talking about it.
So Pam and Dave, I just wanted to let you know that because one, just a lot of credit to Kyle for how he's helped Chris and made sure that these guys are doing good. But there's a lot of work that Chris has done and Adam's done and Kyle is doing here. And it took us a while to settle in and get used to each other. And he's doing the work. And I don't know if Dave, you got the chance to talk to Chris today, but we feel that you're probably getting your first conversation with him in over 10 years.
Yeah, he's still Chris. He's got some really good attributes, and the main thing is that they're starting to surface.
Yeah.
So I was just looking we finally got in touch with the tree guy, the climber today, came out this evening, and I'm going to need 3 good tree people on Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning.
All right. We will work that out.
Okay.
We'll have to look at the safety issues and make sure we're safe, and
Right.
we'll work all that out. And then the money issues, we got to keep it out of their hands because it goes to vape shops. And
Yeah, exactly. I kind of gather when you were making the comment, you were looking at one person over here with the first name of C.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's remarkable to find a way to get in debt. I mean, you got a new vape though.
Look at it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's worth every penny.
Yeah. Oh, and they gave me this. They gave me this too, which was beautiful. I said, "You guys are amazing. You found a way to go out to work, make $100, and come back owing somebody money and be in more debt than you did." And they said, "No, Art, this is a long run thing. We're going to save money in the long run, because they're not smoking cigarettes. So now they're going to save money in the long run." So I don't know the economics of the whole thing. I'm not that bright when it comes to their math skills, but they've got it pretty nailed down that they're going to save money in the long run.
Well, hey, Art, I can help you with that. If it's coming from Chris, I can kind of take you down the road that it's gonna go.
No, I don't know. I don't need to go down there. I already been there. But I will tell you that it's similar to in the past when I've had a lot of people go. My mom used to do this one too. Amy used to do this one. We had a lot of people that, I've had girlfriends in the past and everybody, and they would go out and spend like $500 and then tell me how they saved money. I never really grasped that one, but they were saying something to the effect of, this should have costed me $1,000. So then I saved money by only spending $800. And that was always like, that's some math I never understood. I always thought, well, if you didn't go at all, you would have saved a lot more, but they don't,
Yeah.
Well, good luck. Yeah,
I mean, if you tell somebody if they go out and buy like $1,000 bag, a Coach purse, they'll usually come back and tell you that they saved you money. They'll come back and they'll say, "Well, it was on sale. It was supposed to cost $1,800, so you're welcome." Is basically the gist of that one.
Well, I think it starts with the wife's shopping trip.
Yes, that's what I meant to say. Yeah.
The first thing they always come back with, "Let me show you how much I saved buying all of this."
Yes. It's insane math that we would never get away with. You would not, Dave, you would never go buy a Harley and then come back and get to explain to somebody how much money you saved.
Yeah.
You would not get away with that. There's no way.
No.
That's right. Okay, I'll get in touch with Kyle and we'll work out the who's going to do what.
Oh, you work with me. Dave.
Oh, work with you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Okay.
All righty.
Thanks, guys. Okay, Celeste, can you unmute yourself? We don't got you yet.
You,
There we go.
yeah.
Celeste, welcome back.
Hi, thank you. I don't know. I kind of feel uncomfortable about asking this question, but I thought, why the hell not just ask it anyways? So I've had to literally, let go of an addict in my life, and I have been crossing my own boundaries. And as much as I want to believe the best in people and everything else, I already know that I have to let go of this person completely. They have stolen from me. They have cheated on me. They have, if you can imagine it, it's been done. And I am still finding myself caught up trying to rescue them and feeling guilty by the fact when I say no or hang up the phone or whatever it is, how do you deal? And this is why I don't know if it's appropriate to ask, because most people have addicts in their life and I am letting mine go. So how do you deal with the guilt of everything?
Let's start with, first of all, your boundaries and that not being a thing. I know that you hear it's a thing, but boundaries aren't said, they're lived. So you cross the boundaries that you imaginary set, but you lived the boundaries that you lived. So we know your boundaries by how you're living. Now, I'm not saying have boundaries, and I'm not even going to counsel you on whether to let go of the addict or not. I'm not even going to counsel you on any of that. And I'm going to say, please, whether you want to come down and do a consultation so we can get to know the case, because I would never advise. I've done consultations with almost every family on this screen right now, and each one of them had a different story and a different set of circumstances. So it has to be tailored to what you're going through, and it has to be tailored to what we can do. I can't give you any advice. I don't know. I mean, that would be crazy to just start digging in and not know that I know what you're going through. I've experienced it myself. I've experienced it in my daily life, in treatment life. I know exactly what you're going through, but I wouldn't be able to properly even start anywhere. I can tell you that all of what you're dealing with starts with what we were talking about tonight, and that you're working on your second step is important. I know that for sure. And being able to sit with yourself and sit with your pain and not feel these insecurities that drive you, and all your behavior right now is driven by your fears and insecurities. All your behavior is driven about like what people would think and what if he's going to make it and if you're going to make it, and there's a lot of fear there. So I just encourage you, please, because on this forum it's tough, and I'm not going to advise on any action or any strategy. There might be a strategy here that you get to live by. There might be boundaries that you need to do, but they need to be lived, not told. If you tell somebody they can't use drugs, I do it all the time. You can't use drugs in my house. What do I do when they use drugs in my house? They stay. I mean, I'm there too. And I tell people all the time, no, I'm not going to do that for you. And then I do it. Dealing with addiction is literally like one long business negotiation. It's a never ending negotiation where both sides are unhappy. So, whoa.
I know everybody on here who's had a consultation will attest. There's such value in a consultation because that gives us a starting point. So.
Yes. There she is. Okay. So please, Celeste, get a hold of Angie and let's do a consultation and let's get you involved. It's the best way. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right. Anybody else out there? Otherwise, we can close up, Art, with any last thoughts if there's no last questions or comments.
I think there's so much, and I love how Kim let it off.
Yeah.
That there is actually a very difficult time in finding a starting point. and, you know, what Celeste is dealing with and what we're all dealing with and all of this, it just looks like a freeway with 1,000 different directions. And which direction do I go? And you're just on the freeway and it's just going in 1,000 different directions and you don't know which direction to go. And it's a really big deal. And so now you're just driving and you're thinking and thinking's happening and you're on this thing and you don't know where to go. And it's just one thing after another and it's nonstop. And what it is it's unmanageable. And right now, for us to stop feeling frustration and to stop feeling anger and resentment, and we have a suggestion that we've all been living. We've been living this premise that it's the world. And we've been living this premise that our frustrations and our anger and our resentment and our hatred and our anxiety and our panic and our worry, we've been living this premise that that's all coming from the world. And it's just not true. And it's coming from our experience and it's arising in our experience. So the world is happening and these things are arising in our experiencing and encrusting us and capturing us. And the only logical thing, the only sane way to think of this is to find a way to be in this experience and be with this experience and love yourself. And to love yourself, again, means to love your entire experience. And to love your entire experience, we can't judge our experience. Kyle did a great talk this morning about not judging the experience. And if we don't judge the experience, we will be with the experience and we'll just look at it. And as soon as we judge that experience, frustration, anger, as bad, we will do this aversion tactic. We will try to make it go away. We will try to eliminate the experience. And I'm not saying to eliminate these experiences. I'm saying just look at them. If you just look at them, just be with it, just let it arise, say, there it is, it'll fall back down. Now, if you don't see it arise, it'll come over you. It'll capture you. And then it's too late. And once it's captured you, how long are you in it for? See, how long are we stuck in that? One mode of resentment or anger or worry or panic, and how long? And so this idea of catching it at this point of arising and naming it and seeing it and being with it, sitting there and just letting it be okay and not judging it. There's frustration, that's fine. There's frustration, that's fine. There's anger, that's fine. There's hatred, that's fine. There's opinion, that's fine, I have an opinion. There's an opinion showing up. Okay. But if we can just look at our opinion, then we don't have an opinion. It's just an opinion showing up. But as soon as we have an opinion, now we're against everybody else that has an opinion. So all you have to do is just look at it. Oh, there's an opinion my brain has. Okay, well, I don't have to now go against everybody else that has a different opinion. But as soon as this opinion is mine and it captures me, now I'm angry at other people that don't believe the same thing I do. And so all we're doing here is just seeing this unmanageability of this freeway of life that we're going down, and you can't, and then the idea is just get off the freeway. Just go park for a second. Just stop. Because no direction is going to fix it. And you just see it. And then we just learn to look at it. It goes away. I remember I was always I had this boss that was really into efficiency, and he says, anything monitored improves. Chris Dersh will attest to that at Boeing. Anything that we monitor, it automatically improves. You just monitor it and it improves. And so that's what we're doing. We're monitoring something and it improves. And that's all the work to be done. There's no work after that. Just see it, look at it, don't judge it, done. Just be. So, and all that will lead to this eventual position, maybe, where a sliver of light can get in and I can connect with another human being, where me, a soul, has nothing in the way of seeing another soul. No future, no past, no anger, no resentment, no frustration, no judgment, no opinion, just soul to soul. And I am a soul. I don't have one. I don't need to find it. I'm it. You know, if you're looking for your soul, good luck. That is exactly like having a map of LA and trying to find LA, being in LA. See, it'd be very difficult if you were in LA to have a map of how to get to LA and then try to find LA. You're already there. So we're always trying to find our true self when we're it. We're always trying to find our soul when we're it. We're trying to find our spirituality when we are a spirit. Spirituality, what do you mean? We're a spirit. There's nothing to find. You're it. Now what you got to do is just see what you're not. So now you just look. I'm not that. 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 I'm not my mind. I'm not my body. I'm not my anger. I'm not my worry. I'm not my frustration. I'm the thing experiencing it all. I'm just in here, swimming around. So we just learn it, see it, and remember, this is a philosophy about how I wished I could live if I was perfect. But this isn't how I live. This is what I want to do. And then every day, the day-to-day monotony of life and the petty pace and the anger, and it all shows up. And then hopefully sometime throughout the day, I'm reminded to just be. I'm reminded to take a look. And so I do. And then I yell, and then I feel bad, and then all that happens. And then I experience, and we just continue to do this thing. And then we watch the game, and then we eat, and then we talk. And hopefully throughout the day, I can get moments of sanity. And those moments of sanity come only when the past and future are gone, only when these things are out of the way. So once again, thank you all for coming tonight. It's a huge privilege to be here every week, and it's very odd, and maybe I should get me one of those white collars or whatever. I'm not qualified for that either. So anyways, once again, thank you guys.
Thank you, Art. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you, thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you, thank you.